So, Mr. Sunil sir, I think your presentation is visible to all of us. I request all of you please check whether the video is visible to all of you. Presentation
Yes.
is on the screen. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So, again, without a further ado, I'd like to give you a small briefing about what is NDLI. So, NDLI, that is National Digital Library of India, is an initiative by the Ministry of Education, Government of India, and it is being operated and maintained by IIT Kharagpur. So, National Digital Library of India is a virtual repository of learning resources which provides user group specific services such as examination preparatory for school and college students, job aspirants, etc. It also provides services for researchers and other learners with databases needed for their research. NDLI can hold the content of any language, and at present, it is providing interface support for 10 most widely used languages in India. So, let us know more about NDLI and its benefits from the well known resource person of today's event. So, I request Dr. Bhavani M. So, Associate Professor in HOD, Department of Commerce, Pooja Bhagwat Mahajan Education Center, and also the President of Mahajanas NDLI Club to introduce the resource person and welcome the gathering. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank
ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಭವಾನಿ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
Okay. So now I'm audible, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So a warm welcome to all the participants, my dear colleagues and the director and the resource person who are present over here. And I'm very happy to announce that our Pooja Bhagavat Memorial Mahajana Education Center has got the NDLI club membership for this year. So this is the first event we are conducting to create the awareness of NDLI and its features and how we can use this for our learning and also for our teaching purpose and also for the research purpose. So when we were thinking of inviting some resource person to give us this knowledge, the first name which has come to our mind is Dr. Sunil, who is the present librarian of SDM IMD. So when I called him and then he was gracefully agreed for this and he said he is privileged to be part of our group. And then he has agreed and then we are there here on online platform. Though we are having today is a holiday Sunday, all our faculty members are present here to share his, to take his knowledge and then to take the advantage of all the NDLI features. So it's my privilege to introduce our resource person of today to give the awareness on the NDLI. Dr. Sunil MV has master's degree in library and information science and doctoral degree in the area of open source software from University of Mysore. Dr. Sunil MV is associated with SDM Institute of Management Development for the past 14 years as a librarian and lead the web services. His passion is in the field of open source software and web-based services. He conducts courses, workshops, and delivers guest lectures at various institutions, universities, and at professional associations. He has articles in journal, like it is, what do you call it? His profile is running through about 17 pages. I'm just condensing it and giving the introduction in about 3 to 4 minutes. I would like to share this with our faculty group from tomorrow.
Please, no, ma'am, not an issue because many of your team faculty members I know in person.
Yes, that's nice. So he has articles in journals and in conference volume, edited book, course materials for distance education and case studies in the area of his interest. Dr. Sunil MV has shared his research work in open source library, automation software, Features and Capabilities, published in Germany by Lambert Academic Publishing. His book with Dr. N.S. Harinarayana on managing school libraries in the digital era was implemented as training sources for the in-service training program for Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangata librarians, MHRD, New Delhi. So we are very happy to welcome you, sir, on this platform, and a warm welcome to you from the Mahajana Education Center and Puja Bhagavat Memorial Mahajana Education Center. I would like to welcome our director, who is the inspiration for starting this NDLI club. Sir, I welcome you for this program.
Thank you.
I would like to welcome the librarian, Sainath sir, and also the librarian of MBA department, Manjunath sir, and the librarian of tourism department, and all the library associates who are present here. I would like to welcome all my colleagues who are there here from the UG as well as PG to take the knowledge on NDLI. I welcome you all once again. I welcome you, sir, and over to you, Rupesh.
Yeah, on behalf of everyone, ma'am, we also welcome you to this event.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, now let us move on to the inaugural address by none other than our support, he is the backbone of PG Center, Dr. C.K. Renukarya, Director, Puja Bhagavat Mahajana Education Center, to address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rupesh. Ellarigu namaskara. Very good morning to you all. This is an important function for us because the spread of knowledge happens to be the central focus of any educational institution. Now, if we remember the decades of journey of libraries and the publications, we have traveled miles and miles, and we have reached a situation where we can learn from where we are. This is nothing short of a revolution, I should say, because I remember the days when we used to struggle to get the manuscripts, to get a book from the library, and many a time Sainath, who is here, who was the university librarian, used to help us from borrowing books from other libraries, other university libraries. So we had to wait for 8 days, 10 days, and get the book from other university library and read that, and then return it again in good condition. All these things were very big process, and gaining knowledge was a very difficult task at that time. Now we have traveled quite a big way, and now we have reached a situation where the digitalization has taken place and it is ruling the world. In all spheres of our life, digitalization has become a reality. So in the library sector, this has revolutionized the whole process of learning. Students need not worry about the sources. They need not worry or wait to get information. And librarians' job has also become very simple, unlike earlier days where they had to struggle very hard to procure either a book or a journal. And there used to be very rare books, which it was very difficult to get such books for our references. Now, whole process has been simplified, and students and teachers have reached a stage where they can get the information at the tip of their fingers. And librarians have become so helpful to us nowadays that they can get us any information instantaneously. So we do not know where this journey will take us to ultimately, because the buildings of libraries may become irrelevant, and we may not have to invest lakhs and lakhs of rupees, which we used to do in our institutions to procure books and journals. And we may get any journal, whether national or international, instantaneously. And no longer we should worry about plagiarism, which used to be one of the biggest headaches for the evaluators of research thesis. And universities were worried about plagiarism all the time to award a PhD degree earlier days. So all these things used to happen. And plagiarism has almost come to an end, I should say, because earlier when we were doing our research, suppose a person has done his research on cropping pattern of Mandya district, the same thesis used to be copied for Dharwad district, excepting for the change in the name. Instead of Mandya, they used to put Dharwad, and nobody could detect such a thing at all. Now it is not like that. The digital world can detect anything, and plagiarism has become a word of the past. So this has enabled us to do many wonderful things. So we can do cutting edge research very easily. We can push forward the frontiers of knowledge with great ease and facility. And we can know what are all the developments that are taking place around the world. And we can enhance the horizon of the knowledge very easily. So all these things have become possible because of the digitalization of the library networking. So indeed, Mr. Sainath, when he brought this proposal and said that we want to become the members of NDLI, I was supremely happy. And he took initiation to enroll many members, though 100 was the limit, he expanded it. And he saw to it that all the students become members, all the staff members become members in our institution. And he is so enthusiastic, along with Dr. Bhavani, Dr. Rupesh Kumar, and other colleagues, to organize many talks and events under NDLI. This is a happy development in our institution. And first of this series is being inaugurated by a very well-known and a reputed librarian of our country, Dr. Sunil. He is a highly knowledgeable person. And as Bhavani said, we could not think of any other person other than Sunil to lay the foundation for the special lecture series and the events of NDLI. So I'm very sure that Sainath and Bhavani and her team will take this forward and organize many functions, activities, academic activities involving large number of students to benefit in each area of study. And maybe we will sector-wise, we will organize this, stream-wise, we will organize such programs and take knowledge to the doorsteps of our students and faculty. So this is going to be a very good beginning, and I'm very happy that Dr. Sunil is here to give the inaugural talk. I welcome him very heartily on behalf of Mahajana Education Society as well as Mahajana PG Center. So with these words, I inaugurate this wonderful event, and I wish the lecture series all the success. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your inspiring words and telling us the difference between what the situation you faced while procuring the books against what is the situation now. So I heartily thank you, sir. Now, without further ado, let us hear from our resource person, Dr. Sunil MV, sir. Sir, you can. It's over to you, sir.
Kind of you, Dr. Rupesh. So, friends, thank you very much. First and foremost, I thank Mahajana Educational Society and Pooja Bhagavat Memorial PG Center and much admired senior professor from economics and a guru in the economics, Dr. C.K. Renukacharya sir, and my friend Dr. Bhavani, and of course Sainath sir, who has mentored many students like me at Manasa Gangotri, my DLS department, and many of the faculty members whom know, who are team members of Mahajana family, whom I know in person. Thank you all, and I wish you all success for the NDLI club. And I am very sure NDL club will be stand very unique with the Mahajana Education Society for information literacy activity, which is very core and very important focused point at this particular junction, because we all of you all of us know, like, information is sitting in different information pockets, and the technology has so much advancement, where we have implemented the technology in this difficult situation and ensured our educational journey and the progress of our education for the young minds is not disturbed and take it forward. This shows that how Indians are so flexible, whether it may be a using of a WhatsApp or a Facebook or a technology adoption when it demands. We have that culture inbuilt. We have that capacity inbuilt to meet to that requirement and act to that environment and also respond to that particular service. So one such initiative of by Government of India, by Honorable Ministry of Education, is NDLI. National Mission of Education through ICT was a core initiative which has been a mission-oriented initiative taken by IIT with the project called National Digital Library of India. So just to share whatever experience I am having with implementation of NDLI at SDMIMD, and also in discussion with the various forum regarding the NDLI, and also how we have brought in NDLI from the perspective of a faculty member, whether it may be for a research or it may be from the curricular involvement or pertaining to the student resource sharing. These three are the three component which I am going to share it to you, friends. So first and foremost, without much delay, what I will do is I am using the PPT shared by NDLI, because this is the core reference document which NDLI dictates, saying that we have inculcated and updating regularly this PPT. Please use this PPT so that the information sharing with any of the faculty member or student member is one and the same. Because if you see, like for example, if you take any definition also, each and the definition is defined in different perspective to their knowledge, to their geographical location, and to their perspectives actually. But what NDLI wants to have a same language and a presentation style, so that is why they have developed the orientation PPT itself and shared to many of the club presidents, and said that please use this as a PPT. So I am using the same PPT. It is not by me, it is by NDLI itself. I am very sure already Dr. Bhavani may be having this to share it with you after this particular event, just for your reference purpose. So friends, let me start this particular session about, of course, it has 60 slides. I'm not going to detail or discuss about the entire thing. I will take up those slides and let us discuss, like, what is relevant for the faculty community. I came to know by Dr. Bhavani that it's this orientation session or the introductory session is only for the faculty members. So it is very much easy for me, so that I can share whatever is relevant for the faculty members alone. So friends, just to give you a background hint, the NDLI is built on the 5 laws of library and information science, framed by father of library and information science, Dr. S.R. Ranganathan. Okay. And this aim, in the next 10 minutes, what I'm going to share it with you is a brief, it's a just drawn view about NDLI and how it works and what kind of a content it has, and how to access NDLI from your home or mobile or in the college, anywhere. And finally, there is a small table which give you this thing, what they say, difference between the Google and NDLI. Why? When Google is there, when the entire search engine is available, entire the information, the knowledge and the growth is available on the Google. Why we need NDLI? That is a core question actually. It's very good, very apt and very much needed. That is why we let us think about what NDLI can give apart from Google. So why ADLI? So first and foremost, to provide anytime, anywhere access for the authentic sources. Because I don't want to have this thing, what I say, a monologue, just speaking to my own monitor. You can unmute yourself and just be participative. We will discuss next in next for 40 to 45 minutes about and let us have a discussion session, not as a monologue, which I am going to have it with you. So friends, why do we need NDLI? Because of authentic sources. What is mean by authentic and unauthentic source? Anybody, your views, please. Anybody? You can share your own knowledge. What do you mean? What is the what do you mean by authentic and unauthentic sources? Any example or your thoughts?
So is it like verified and unverified, sir?
You are partly right. You are partly right. Yes, exactly. Yes. You are almost there. You are almost 50% covered, whatever the explanation needed for that.
Maybe authentic source are it is given by some authority who will be managing that legally.
Exactly. Yes. You are right, ma'am. Definitely. So that completes the very definition of authentic sources. It means that, see, when you are in Google, when you search Google, you are not aware that the whether in the information which is been received from the search engine is valid or not. It may be from a blog, it may be from a Facebook post, or it may be from a LinkedIn review, or it may be a just observation or a expression of my own thoughts. So which is not been validated. It means that it is a purely personal view. So a team of expert or a editorial board or a group an organization has not vetted my view and say that yes, whatever the author is saying is opt, it has been researched and it has been conveyed, and that's why we are publishing it. So as I think the first respondent and Dr. Bhavani mentioned, it is published by, if an article or an information source published by an authenticated source like a institution, an organization, a publisher, or a corporate body or a registered entity, then it will have certain identification. Like for example, books have ISBN, journals have ISSN. Digital objective identifier is associated with the digital resources. So each and every document which has been published by a recognized body will attach with a recognized permanent identity. Okay, such resources are are the core sources for any research or publication and sharing to our younger generation. If we give a link without knowing whether it is from a proper source or anything like that, then it will not only mislead your research, it will make you run round around the same topic and give your own unanswered questions. And also further, what you are doing is you are adding a information or a false information to the gamut of nonsense which is already there in Google. So that is why NDLI has born. What it does, it pull out those authentic information, only authentic information from different resources, and pull out and give a gateway. So to access the entire gamut of knowledge which is available across the globe. So it is a single unambiguous platform providing a equitable access to the resources. And one beauty of that is it has crossed all the boundaries which the regular database subscription we have. If you see, I think Sainath sir is the best person to explain that. If we subscribe to Elsevier, they say that we can provide this number of access points. You can access in library, not in your room, not in your chamber, or not in your classroom. So they have access privileges restricted to number of IPs. So to come out of this clutches of this particular from the subscribers, NDLI has thought about giving a open access to multiple resources at anywhere, anytime access. And furthermore, it supports the democratic education. And of course, during the lockdown thing during COVID-19, it supported largely right from primary education to the higher education. So friends, what it does is, just to give you is, it is not like NDLI holds the entire information on a common server. No, 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 no. What it does, it has the metadata. It means that the bibliographical description of the entire servers has been captured, and only the bibliographical data, which we call it as a metadata in digital library or a digital content terminology, is housed on National Digital Library. So when you search, it is not searching the entire content which is there in the somewhere in the server. It is searching only the bibliographical information. Okay, and it will give the search results. Once you click on a particular link, it will take you to that primary server. It will take you to the respective resource where it has been housed. For example, we have our own institutional repository on ePrint. What we have housed all the conference publication right from 1993 to till date onto this ePrints platform. Okay, and we have tied up with the NDLI, and we have offered it as a resource to NDLI. So when you search any any article, we have given the bibliographical information to NDLI. It searches the bibliographical information available in the NDLI, and if it is available on a SDMIMD server, once a person click on the title of the particular document, it will take you to the SDMIMD server and give the complete article of that particular article. So this is how it works. This is a user model where we have integrated the contributor. It is nothing but the institutions. Okay, learning management system like massive open online courses, Swayam, and other components. Web content in the harvesting, where is available on an institutional repository, digital library, web content. And finally, it has ensured that everything is been accessed, content is accessed by the learners, professionals, researchers, and all the sectors of the society. So friends, these are the institutions, premier institutions, which are tied up or contributed, they said to NDLI, hello, we are ready to give your content as free. Okay, it may be all IIMs, IITs, many premier institutions, national importance, level importance institutions, many, and publishers, many of them have said that we are open for sharing. So this has, as of now, there are 347 institutions in India which have said that we want to offer it to NDLI for free content. And this is a glimpse, of course, since it has been housed on IIT, the computer science and technology takes the major portion of the content which has been archived. And of course, there are like, for example, literature, social management is there in the social science segment, which is also contributing equally to other major discipline. So friends, what is the content range? What is the content which we can use? Lecture slides, video classes, notes, coursewares, term papers, assignments, lab manuals, case studies, and of course, if anyone is preparing for the competitive exams, okay, faculty publication, electronic thesis and dissertations, okay, and books, just premier publications, ebooks, subscribed resources, encyclopedia. These are all the many resources which are available. Of course, what it demands is the skill to access that particular resource. You can have n number of resources, as I will just share it to you, like what is the gamut of resource which is housed on NDLI, but you should have that skill to access and ask NDLI what you need. That we will come to the next part of this particular thing. So friends, These are the icons which you have to be remember. When it is a when lock unlocked in a green color, it means that it is open access. You can access anywhere. Okay, you can access anywhere. Okay, and if you are not, if you give this particular person symbol, it means that you are access. If you are NDLI member of a NDLI, then only you can access. Okay, if it is black and white restrictions, it means that it has limited access. Of course, the NDLI president or the NDLI chief patron have every option to make a request to for the publisher and get the document. Okay, if it is an orange color, little bit open, it means that it is subscribed. It is offered through a publisher who has a public publisher restrictions, and it can be accessed through a subscribed sources. Okay, and red means it has included only such items which has higher number of citations. Higher number of citations. For example, if we go to any research, any faculty who is a research guide, first and foremost, he asks us to refer 5 to 6 important papers in that particular discipline or a domain or a particular topic. What is that means makes the 5 to 6 core paper? It is based on citation. So what NDLI has done is intelligently, it has listed only those full text, which is full text documents, which has higher number of citation in that particular discipline. Okay. For example, if you say, like for example, if you consider medical literature, in medical literature or in history, getting a citation is very difficult. Okay, we are getting 50 citations is the max. Actually, it means that you have achieved achieved very good. Okay, whereas in economics, social science and other things, there's a number of citations goes up to 500 thousands and many more, because the research and the validity and the progressive nature from the literature to social science is very large. Even today, many of the literature, Shakespearean literature is very relevant and opt and very nascent and new for us. So we today, even today, we quote Shakespeare. So that is why getting a citation in the social science and economics and in other social science domain sector is little bit easy, not so easy. Okay, whereas in pure science and history, it is not so. Next, coming to the access viewpoints, friends, this is the gamut of literature. There are 5.18 crore resource, 4 crore resource, which is available for you through this particular platform. So what are the resource type? We have articles, newspaper articles, books, reports, law, judgments, theses, technical reports, historical records, and video lectures. This is a glimpse. This is a glimpse. I am not saying that this is the thing. This is a glimpse. Every day it has been updated. This is a glimpse of resource types which you can access through internet. So for whom? From school to lifelong learner and to academic research for all NDLIs. How to access NDLI, friends? Either through mobile or through browser. Today, I am going to give the demonstration through browser, through a browser. So National Digital Library, NDLI, can be accessed on in both the mobile device as well as on a browser laptop thing. What are the URLs? ndl.iitgp.ec.in is the sub-host of IIT Kharagpur, and another thing which you can access is the direct NDLI portal, www.ndl.go.in. If you don't want to, I don't want you to remember all these things. Just Google, go to Google, just type NDLI, you will be there. Okay. This is the website. Okay, we are going to visit very shortly this particular website. Just to give the glimpse, it has a very rich filtering technique, very rich filtering techniques where you can integrate the resources directly onto your learning platform. And also further, the beauty of this thing is it gives everything in a common platform. It may be text, video, simulation games, case studies, teaching materials, theses, images, everything will be accessed with the single search results. Okay, so you need not to go to multiple websites and search for if, for example, if you need a video, you need not to go to YouTube, or if you want to image, you need not to go to Google and search for an image. And if you need PDF, you need not to go for Google and ask for file type PDF. No, nothing, like no such nonsenses. Everything will be housed, and the content type, whatever the content type which is available, which will be displayed to you at the single window operation. And of course, authors, source and authors. Can anybody throw a light on why we need authors filtering? Anybody, please? Why we need author filtering? Anybody? Why we need authors? We have to remember for our research.
For acknowledgement purpose or for the citation?
Definitely, that is the core. And apart from this, why do we need like, for example, there is a filter by authors. Why should we know, why should they give the authors filtered like that? Whether it may be written by X, Y, Z, it is immaterial. I need information. Am I right?
So to narrow down our searches, sir.
That is another technique actually, to coming to the research field. For example, if any researcher, it is to be honest, at least if you can identify at least 5 authors in your domain. For example, if I am my research is on open access software. If someone asks, like, who are the core authors in your domain, or if I want to follow the author, or if I want to know about who is the productive author, whom article I should search. So I should know, in our domain, we should know at least 5 authors in that particular relevant subject. So that is what it demands, and that is why they give filter authors. So if you go to these filtering techniques, authors, you know, like, who are the productive authors, major contributor to that particular subject, productive subject. So that is why they have given the author filter. Okay. And learning type, of course, there may be, if you are interested in case study or book review, text articles, annual report, poster, images, or anybody, you can filter it through learning type of resources. Okay. And user restrictions, it means that whether if you are searching on only open access, so I hope you can recall that icons which I displayed, that green, red, orange, and the reader book like icon. If you can, if the icons are there, and also of course the descriptions are there, based on the icons, if you can click it, if you click the green open lock, that means it will give only those open resource, freely available resources for you to integrate and refer. Okay. Content type, of course, what are the content type? It means that it may be for a video, text, or as I told you, it may be a format type or anything like that. Okay. Access restriction, whether it is available to NDLI user or open access, which is subscribed, you can, multiple filters are there. Okay. I will demonstrate you in this particular thing. And source. Okay. InflipNipt is EPG Pathshala. Okay. Which has more than, for the, especially for the in the EPG Pathshala, they have created a subject wise and the sub domain wise course base, which has a wonderful tutorials, and also developed by the experts. There is a videos, and simulation games are there, and also they have a quiz, multiple choice question approach for evaluation components, and also assignment submissions. All these are inbuilt and integrated and built onto EPG Pathshala. It is a wonderful resource for faculty members. Just to cover one of the objective, friends, since we are in this particular slide. So can anybody give your idea about how we can bring such resources, that courses which are there in the EPG Pathshala, or school after school learning platform, which is there, to into our curriculum? Can anybody, can we discuss for 5 minutes about this? Like, for example, just to give a basic example, like, for example, all of you are aware about Coursera, okay, or edX. In the same way, we have EPG Pathshala, which is a government initiative. EPG Pathshala hosts so many courses free of cost, Okay, how we can bring such free courses into our curriculum practice or pedagogy? How we can bring it? Anybody you can share?
I request the participants to participate in this discussion as the resource person is inviting us to do so. Please
Yes.
unmute and you can speak.
Please, please. I want it to be more an interactive learn rather than a. I am not a thorough expert in this. I want to learn from you. That's why I'm asking to give your ideas. How to bring such freely available courses into our pedagogy or our curriculum? Anybody?
So we can match with the syllabus that we have right now.
Exactly, exactly, sir. Exactly, exactly.
Or shall we go for providing any certification or diploma courses in the content which are available in EPG
Oh,
Pathshala?
definitely. We can, as you are right, ma'am, we can mix match the course which are freely available, create a certification if they complete everything and issue a certificate. That is also a wonderful idea. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Since ours is autonomous, we can bring in
Yeah,
that.
that's what, ma'am. That is why I want to throw open this as a first question so that
Yeah.
this makes your user to use NDLI.
Yes, yes.
See, as Sir mentioned, first and foremost, what we can do is we can refer certain content which is there in our curriculum or course outline. Okay, give one or two components for our students to study the content which is there in the EPG Pathshala, complete the course and get the certificate. And for those students who submit the certificate to the institute, you can integrate or bring in as an internal assessment component and have certain weightage for that. That is the one which sir suggested and which many of the institutions are already doing it. Okay, and the second one which we have done at SDMIMD is what we have done is we have made it as a compulsory component in certain courses. Like for example, when I am offering design thinking, what I have done is I have integrated certain components from here at the EPG Pathshala and the open resources which is available in NDLI. And also I have asked them to take up the design thinking as a class participation component of 20%, and they have to complete that particular course. And if they submit, I'm evaluating for the 20% weightage of the total evaluation component. So this makes them to get into the e-learning platform, get into the online course environment, introduce them, and then make them to be with the digital world. Why I'm saying so is because if they are placed tomorrow in any company, many companies have learned that e-learning this thing what they say e-learning training programs is more effective and more cost effective, and they could have a and the financial implication on the company is very less. So many of the training manuals and the training platforms are on e-platform. So if we introduce our student in this during the learning curve itself, then they can get into the particular training ability or training skill as soon as they get into the corporate. So this not, and also it will a value addition to our institution that okay chalo, we have already introduced the course and we have introduced built into the particular course curriculum with the autonomy which has been accorded to us. So this is one thing which I wanted to share it with you, which you can immediately, if you can bring in, it will definitely enhance the user participation of the club. Second thing is my education level and access restriction. If you can, of course, UG and PG are the most relevant for the our Mahajana Education Center, PG Center, which you can directly use this particular thing, and that is one. And of course, content type, and you can multiple subject categories available. Okay, we can do. And lastly, from the source. Okay, what is the source? It means that from where. For example, if you are thinking you want to search only digital thesis and dissertation, then definitely you can search for Shodhaganga. If you click Shodhaganga, then all the theses which is submitted by the premier universities in India and housed at Shodhaganga is available to you on a single platform. You are not visiting Shodhaganga, you are accessing Shodhaganga through NDLI. This is the beauty of NDLI. Okay, and of course in the if this is for the elementary or the primary education, where they have tied up even Vedantu and other educational supportive e-learning platform or contributed videos, they can also access those videos through this particular platform. Okay, and of course this is particularly pertaining to the competitive examinations. It is not only for JEE, even for IAS KS also has been built up, and the resource materials are available on NDLI. So this is what I wanted to have. Of course I will skip this because it is there for the other thing. And this is the one thing which I wanted to share it to you. Study at home collection. This is the one thing which our Mahajana PG Center can use and make leverage or take leverage on using and introducing this. In the similar way, like NPTEL and also Coursera and edX and other massive open online courses, law and management also offers certain what they say video content and course materials for the business and management subject category. You can access related to business organization management and accounting question and solutions, and there is a rich gamut of management books, notes and articles are there. Of course, how to make the user to read those books is a challenge for the day. Okay, that we have to take it in another way. So friends, these are the featured content for the college students available on Shodhaganga. School students, which is not relevant for us, health, word classics, okay, and competitive exams. This is what I wanted to show it to you. A rich, very rich. If you, I think those students who have a acumen towards getting into the competitive world and also getting into the competitive exam world, they need not to go anywhere else. It has an ample publications housed on this particular platform. So by this is how, once you get into the search window, it will give, this is a search window, and if you click on a particular thing, it will give the source where it is from, access restrictions, and also a brief description, metadata elements which are being described over there. Then it will, if you click on the title, it will take you to the complete full text article. So first and foremost, as members, I am very sure the entire NDLI club members might have already shared your user credentials to you. You have a registered email ID and a password to you to get into the login page of NDLI. Please, you can log in. Of course, every time it will ask for the CAPTCHA. Some numbers will be there. If you give that number and ensure, if you are having a personal laptop, click on Remember Me and just click on login. If you are not on a personal laptop, on a computer of your computer lab or anywhere else which is used by many others, never ever click on Remember Me. Okay, just directly click on login. So this is one thing, and these are the filters which I have already described to you: the access restrictions, author wise distribution, subject wise, and education level wise. Okay, and the file format wise, the language wise, learning resource, what are the types of resources available, and the source, from which source, where we are getting from that. Okay, these are the things. And of course it supports documents pertaining to the language is very minimal. Okay, majority 85% is in English. Okay, here and there we can find some local recognized languages, 11 language 10 languages of India, which has been housed over here. Okay, and mobile friendly device, opt, beautifully built. Okay, and it has a very good navigation system on mobile, which is a highly student friendly. The mobile app is been designed entirely keeping the students in mind, like how they navigate usually through an app. It has been designed very beautifully made and available both on Android and iOS. And this is the mobile usage window screenshots which is there. And of course, the subject-wise categorizations, filters are also available, very neatly presented. And what is the difference between Google and NDLI? Primarily, as I told you, as Dr. Bhavani and another faculty resource mentioned, the primarily it mentioned NDLI has only authentic resources. It is not like Google, which gives all the resources left, right, and center, pull down from here and there, and give you and throw you something on your screen and say, now it is there. Now it's your job. You look into the each and every document and find whatever you want. No, it doesn't show like that. It is highly professional in nature. Okay, it lists and gives only those information which are very much authentic, and it is been needed for the educational resources reference only. And it has a very good filtering technique. Okay, whereas in Google you cannot filter through a specific author. If it can be done, but it is a very tedious one. You have to know the search strategy thoroughly to filter that particular thing. Here in NDLI, they have created filters so that you can narrow down the research search strings in your own way. Okay, and apart from this, the third and the most important is NDLI became a one important gateway to the gamut of resources which is housed somewhere else. I'm very sure you might have experienced what happens is when we get into the Google, we search, and when we click on a particular title, we from that title we will go to another title, and from their screen to another screen, go to a screen by screen, we will open around 15 to 20 windows. And at the end of that 1 hour the screen time which we have spent, we finally forget what we exactly started, where we exactly started, and what we searched actually. Okay, because the windows options and the basic window option is intact in NDI, whereas in Google it changes. Okay, the main screen, the search results remains intact in NDLI. That's the beauty, unified platform. And national licensing, it means that it is available free of cost. It doesn't give you, like for example, there is a I am very sure many of you are a member of ResearchGate. Am I right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So ResearchGate.
Yes.
ResearchGate has certain restrictions. It means that is accessible only to its member. And it also has certain restriction for accessing the full text of certain articles. It has 5-level integration model where to access the particular content. There is no such restriction in NDLI. Okay. So these are the 4 important difference between Google and NDLI. So it makes more relevant content, authentic content, and it helps you to narrow down the results using certain filters. It is a single window gateway for entire gamut of information. Finally, it is available free of cost. It means that when it is said it is free, it means that it really means free. Okay. So friends, this is what I wanted to share it to you from the faculty perspective. Okay. And that too for a PG level category. This is what I wanted to present to you. Okay. And with this note, I close the PPT. Okay. Ma'am, how much time I have now?
Yeah, Dr. Sunil, you can take, like, we are there here to learn, no problem.
Okay. Kind of you. Thank you. So, friends, then what I will do is I will take you through the next window, next part B of my presentation. What I will do is I will just go to Google, okay, to start my journey or presentation on NDLI. One sec. Okay. Windows. Is the window visible? Google screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
Dr. Sunil.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is the Google, and I need not to introduce Google. You are everyone knows, and also the how to get into Google, google.com, and just say NDLI. That's all. Okay. Smaller case, lower case, upper case, everything will do. Okay, just type NDLI. Okay, and you are there. That's all. Okay, you need not to remember the URL or anywhere thing. just go there. The very first link of the IIT Kharagpur repository, just click on it. Okay, you are there. You are there on the platform. Okay, of course, for the newbies, once you log in, what it demands is you can click on the user login here. Okay, it asks for the login. Okay, I'm very sure you will get you have already have your email ID is your login ID, and the password which already been given. Those who have not logged in, there is a temporary password is there. Okay, through which you have to first log in, and it gives option for you to change the password and create your own presence on India Live. Be a member of India Live, because you are a proud member, that to say that I am part of a National Digital Library of India. That's good. So this is what it is. This is the screen, friends. And as I told you, it is developed by Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, and funded and sponsored by Ministry of Education, Government of India. So this is what it is. And of course, these are the in the screen study at home options. Okay, if you this is what I wanted to show you is law and management. Click on it, so you can have management videos, lectures, and other things which is available, which you can integrate along with your course curriculum, and use it for our regular purpose. Okay, of course, this is the repository which has been published during the COVID-19 thing. Okay, data sets. If you want, many of you, if you want to publish any article based on the COVID thing, please use this particular data set. Okay, rich amount of data set is there, which is in XLS forum, and you can download, make your own research, bring your own perspectives, and submit it as an article. Okay, nobody even never ever question you for use of this particular, but only thing is you have to acknowledge the repository. That's all. Okay, so use this particular data sets for publications on COVID-19. It's very much valid, because in the recently visited NBA inspection, we had a question by the one of evaluation team member. He asked, like, how many articles you have published by the institute pertaining to the COVID-19 situation. Okay, about COVID-19. It may be from the management perspective, it may be from the social science, it may be from the societal aspects, or the impact on society, technology adoption, whatever it may be, which are available, which is the allied subjects of management. You tell me how many articles have been published. That is one of the things which you can project using these things. Documents and videos, journals, conferences, idea funding, and these are the COVID-19 repository. And this lists the featured collections of the particular week. Okay, particular week. So this is how it goes. This is the home page of NDLI platform. And if you want me to search, I will just go here and search on design thinking, and I will search. So friends, this is where I wanted to say, just if you observed, there are 2,95,000 documents on design thinking itself. Okay, so how I have brought in, how I am using this particular platform for my course is, see, for example, if I want to suggest a book, okay, I can suggest the design thinking which is available in ACM Digital Library. Okay, if I want to integrate or introduce a video teacher tube is this is an excellent source. Teacher tube provides a very good interactive video tutorials which you can use. Of course, just I will open one and I will show you to see. This is the beauty. The main sheet remains intact. Okay, whereas it will directly open to the next window. But I know what I have searched in the middle, this the in the beginning. So this is one, and here is the video. These are all the short videos, not more than 5 minutes. Okay, and once you click, it will show you, take you this video. So friends, this is a small video. Instead of me telling so many resources, okay, say so many in designing, in making why design thinking is needed for the PG center or a PG student, but this short video will trigger the interest of the students and say that why design thinking is needed for the PG environment. Okay, and of course, just to share it with you, we have used design thinking in getting a solution for the in the COVID time for the distribution of 8,000 food packets to the Paura Karmikas and COVID frontline workers. Okay, so we adopted this particular technique and find the solution how to do the distribution network. So and we prepared a case study. So such things, then what happens is it gives the faculty to think about in a productive way the about writing an article or case study, and you can just integrate such videos which are available free of cost to you to build the curriculum. This saves much more time for you. You need not to go here and there to search for resources. So it may be a text, it may be a audio, it may be a video, image, application, animations are there, simulation games are there, and presentations are. These are the content types on which you can build the resource of your course curriculum and house it onto your local repository. Create a small web page, provide the link, the students will go browse those things and directly use the resources. This is what we have to do. That's all. Okay. Coming to the access restrictions here. See, if I click on open, of course, I cannot use 2,900 and 2,95,000 documents. Now I will start imposing the restrictions about my choice for the resources. What I will do, I want it to be open. Okay, chalo, it means that it is only open. I don't want the subscribed one which is housed and where I have to pay or access my club patron to get the information. No, I want all the resources to be open. Okay, chalo, you can put the restrictions. Okay, and if I go to author, see, like for example, these are the prime authors who have contributed towards the thinking level or who has been referred in these particular these particular publications. You can bring in all those authors also. I don't want to get into that. Subject category, I am not, I am open for that. And educational degree, I want a Master of Business Administration. There is only one resource which is available. See, this is the beauty of filtering. If I want, if I am searching on design thinking for for management aspect which is available on open access, if I would have used on the same thing in Google, it used to throw, I will show you on the same thing search query on Google, it will throw you hazard results, so many results which is from authentic source, unauthenticated source, which may be available to me or which may not be available to me. Whereas if I click on the social management, out of 2,95,000, only one article is been housed on the digital library. Okay, the digital library. Okay, I will remove this. Okay, and I will go to the UGPG level, difficulty level, let it be there, education level. I will click on UG and PG. I'm saying these three components. I'm saying access restriction, it should be open. Second one is I want for the UG and PG category itself. Okay, and I am going there as a file format. I am saying that I want articles, so I want only PDF. So what it says, there are 32,250 articles which are there for about articles which are available free of cost, open access platform about design thinking. So this is the beauty of filtering techniques. Of course, if I go and click on English, that is another filter because I don't know Danish or French. So I am restricting to language. Then what I will do is I will go to resource type. If I want to have a book or an article or a case study, if I am searching for a case study, go for case study. It will give you, there are 9 case studies found out of this many seconds. Okay, so I can directly use these case studies and I need not to purchase from Harvard or anywhere else by paying the $100, paying in dollars. I can directly use this case study and bring it into my curriculum and say that this is the case studies for the classroom discussions. Okay, of course, if I am not interested, just unclick it and source. Last one is source, where I should get. Okay, what is that I wanted, from which source I want. So you can restrict to the universities or the publishers, Taylor and Francis or anybody. Okay, you can make this also available to you. So friends, this is, and if I want thesis, just click on thesis. See here, there are 73 results found on pertaining to thesis about design thinking, design and implementation. Of course, some of the search string is not so powerful as Google, where there are certain documents which speaks about design of a instrument or instrument machinery equipments and other things also. Okay, you can filter it further. Okay, and this is how. And if you go to advanced technology, you can say that it should be available in title content should be in design thinking and search. And I will just go here and I will just click on this is okay. See here, this is the one. Design thinking. So in the title, you will find the design thinking as a title. So like this, you can use the advanced search as well as the basic search to search the content. So friends, this is an overview. Of course, I have taken 8 minutes more than what I have been allocated. Sorry for that. I have to rush because of some rush for in this introductory session. So I'm sorry. Definitely, you can use this resource for what they say for mainly for your sharing, building a curriculum, designing your own content for your course, and also offering it as a certification program, or asking students to take up certain program which is available online and have that course certificate inbuilt to your course curriculum. So these are the things which you can definitely do. It's a wonderful platform, and it is legalized platform by Government of India itself. Even if you bring in the weightage or the participation of the institute in such activities, or being a member of to that community, definitely it will enhance your score in the accreditation and assessment committee also. For example, recently released NIRF, it has a component about participation in national and international national government initiative projects, and also funded projects, which is very core actually. So in such columns, definitely you can gain more marks by involving yourself in the particular project of Government of India. It's a wonderful project, much needed for India, because education is becoming very costlier and costlier by day. And I totally agree with Professor Renukacharya sir view that now the very perspective of library has changed with the technology adoption. Now, earlier user were searching the information. Now library is searching the user actually. We want user to come to the library, need the information. But user is saying, no, I need not, I don't want to come to library. I have my library on my mobile. Why should I come to library? So the physical existence of a library is becoming a question. Okay, and it's not only for the library, it is for the librarian as well as the library. Both, it's the existence question. Okay, now because it be and libraries have redefined their existence as and when they started adopting technology. It may be right from the typewriter to the WhatsApp. Libraries have implemented the technology as and when it has grown and introduced to the society and be with the user. Okay, and one such product is NDLI. Definitely, library will be with the technology and will be with the user. So this is what I want to share it with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sunil. I have one question.
Please.
Suppose if I develop any content, either in the form of article or video or anything, or maybe I may contribute some content for the what do you call the examination, competitive examination. What are the ways I can bring it through this platform directly?
Directly, definitely, ma'am. It's a very good question. Many of the faculty members are having this particular or they say view, like chalo, okay, I have my own course content. For example, you might have developed your own course material for your course, or you might have you might have created a short video for an introductory purpose of a particular subject. Okay, so how to bring in and make it integrated with NDLI? That's the question. Am I right, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah. So one thing what I wanted is, first and foremost, start building your own repository at local level.
Okay.
Okay. See, for example, let me share, like, for example, if you have Greenstone Digital Library or ePrints, okay, or DSpace, these are our certain open source tools which are available on a free platform. It is not charged, it is a free of cost. Okay, this ePrints, DSpace, Fedora, and another one is Omeka. Okay, these are all certain open source software which is available free of cost. Okay, free of cost. What you can do is, what the minimum investment from the institute for such things is a server. Okay, the server also you have an option, either you can go for a cloud based server, okay, cloud based, or you can have your own server. Okay, you can have, but if you have in your house in-house server, then what happens is, demands the technology support from the person. A designated person should be there. If you house it on cloud, there is no need, but the financial implications will be little bit high. Okay, so once you house that, implement this particular software, deploy these softwares, and then start placing those content. Okay. Once you reach a respectable number, like for example, chalo, like 100. Okay, 100 is a very good number to say NDLI. Like, look, Mr. NDLI, I want to shake hands and give my resources and want to place. Okay, then you can write to NDLI. Definitely, they will integrate your repository with their server.
Oh, okay.
Sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir?
Thank you.
Hi, sir. We are planning to take Nimbus institutional repositories.
Okay.
Yeah. We can also, in that also we can use, no?
Definitely,
These digital.
it's a very good tool, and actually, Nimbus has been recommended and by Visvesvaraya Technology University, and also by UGC consortium. Also, it has been tested and it is there as a product recommended list. And one thing about Nimbus is, it is the institution level archiving tool. It means that if Mahajana Educational Society cumulatively say, like, these are the resources which has to be integrated and should be made available to the Mahajana Educational Society, either for a PG or UG, then the Nimbus will integrate all those resources which is available on an open access platform, and also those resources which is available with you, and make it available. And also it will solve the problem which Dr. Bhavani madam has raised. So
Yes,
Nimbus, what happens is, Nimbus has a beautiful option. Like, of course, it is a subscribed one. It is not a free.
Yes,
it is a subscribed one. Every year we have to renew. Okay, that's why I didn't give Nimbus as a solution when I was discussing about open access resources. It is a subscribed one. It also holds the institutional educational output also. If your faculty have certain resources, Nimbus has a capacity to house those resources and provides access, and it can be integrated to NDLI.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Any questions? Any participants has any questions? So I guess Dr. Sunil, sir, I think all the participants have clearly understood the concept what you have explained to us today, and we'll make sure that whatever the things you have told us, so we'll follow it up and we'll make this NDLI a resource, a very good, useful resource to us.
Definitely.
First, yes, sir. It is a time to render vote of thanks. And I would like to thank the resource person for today, Dr. Sunil MV, that is the librarian from SDM IMD, so who spared his time and shared with us the knowledge about how to get access to the NDLI resources and how to use filters and how to get a good response from the NDLI and all. So thank you very much, sir, for your deliberations, and I thank our director, Dr. C.K. Renukare, sir. So he's always encouraging us whenever we take any project proposal and all. So he instantly gives us his acceptance, and also he participates in all the events, whatever we conduct and all. So he and motivates us. So Dr. Renukare, sir, thank you for your gracious presence and inaugural address. I thank Dr. Bhavani M. So she's the head of the Department of Commerce and also the president of Mahajana NDLI Club. Ma'am, thank you for organizing such an event, fruitful event. I'm sure that all our faculty will make positive use of this event. Thank you, ma'am. And I thank Mr. Saina JS, Secretary for Mahajana NDLI Club, for organizing this today's event. Thank you, sir. And I thank all the librarians and associates of libraries of both UG and PG for their participations. And I thank my colleagues, my faculty colleagues, head of the departments of all both the PG and UG, and all the participants who are present here today for this event. I thank everyone for their presence, their time, and everything. Thank you and all.
Thank you. Take care. Ma'am, I think you have to unmute.
Yeah. So I would like to thank Rupesh, because he's the one who gave all the technical support for the success of this program. Thank you, Rupesh.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Sunil, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sunil. It was wonderful session. Yes.
Convey my regards to sir.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take care, ma'am. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, Rupesh, we can wind up the meeting.